Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to our Inner Child Masterclass. My name is Stacey Dudley. I am the founder of the Clarity Circle, a company that assists people with their personal and professional development. And that covers an array of many different resources from private certifications, certified by the International Practitioners of Holistic Medicine, to the International Association of Therapists, right across to personal, deep inner transformation work, incorporating all things spirituality. I have with me today the gorgeous Gemma, my wonderful business partner. I'll let Gemma introduce herself before I go into our main topic of today.
Hi everyone. So my name is Gemma. I'm an aligned lifestyle coach. I started off coaching women who wanted to change their relationship with alcohol, and very quickly, over a couple of year period, realized that not drinking was just the tip of the iceberg, really. So embarked on my life coaching, and I just absolutely love bringing the inner child work into my coaching practice. I think it is just so powerful. I've also done a lot of inner child work myself, so I know how powerful it is. And yeah, it's amazing. It's something that will really bring along your actual coaching practice and also help you yourself as well.
Yeah, massively, massively. So I'm just going to read a statement that I've wrote out here. I always do this because I think it's very important to stick to the guidelines of what we're putting out, because sometimes our own beliefs, values, opinions can attach to the actual core of what you're trying to deliver. So inner child work is a therapeutic practice that involves connecting with and healing the part of us that holds memories, emotions, and beliefs formed during childhood. Our inner child is the younger version of ourselves, often carrying wounds, unmet needs, and feelings that impact our adult lives. Now, think back to a time where you've not got your own way, like last week, and you've all of a sudden stamped your feet, thrown a pad in, you're like, oh my gosh, I want my own way. That is us connecting to our inner child. And the best way that I can explain it is, when you're having an argument with somebody, or they're giving you some resistance and there's something going on, what I want you to do in future is look at them as their 4-year-old self. Look at them. Look at them and go, ah, you are your 4-year-old self right now. And that is inside what happens. And 95% of our daily life is run from our subconscious mind. Only 5% is conscious. And our subconscious mind is programmed all inside of us from our early years, from when we were a child. So when we start to do things and act a certain way, we realize, when now you become more consciously aware, where those stem from. Hugely. I mean, is there a time, Gemma, where you thought, oh my gosh, I've just been my child?
Embarrassingly, yes, there's a lot. But actually, sometimes, it's not all about having a tantrum and all that lot. Sometimes we need to actually honor our inner child and, think back to a time where actually we wanted to be heard, and it might trigger that situation. And you think, actually, no, do you know what? I'm going to stick up for her in this moment. She's right. So
Yeah.
it's about learning. It's about learning when you're being your bratty inner child, and when your inner child really needs something from you, and you need to give her what she needs because she didn't get it in that moment back then.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll talk about the wheel of life. We have different aspects, responsibilities, beliefs, values, actions, situations. And we must make sure in the life that we live in right now, currently, that we are fulfilling all of our needs, because it is our birthright to receive and to give unconditional love, to have joy, fulfillment, happiness. And you can have all those, but we do also have to tap into that inner child and release the fun, have the dance around, play the arts and crafts. do something that you did as a child. Is it getting on the swing at the park and swinging yourself around? You know, it is a huge part of ourselves that we're always told to dampen, like, be sensible, don't behave like that. Did you actually just say that? You know, and it's like, yeah, I did it. And I found myself hilarious. Well, I do think I'm hilarious on a daily basis. So, you know, I do tap into that now. But for me personally, inner child transformation and me learning about my inner child really allowed me to understand the patterns that I were doing within my life and the patterns of self-sabotage, self-destruction, of repeating things based on the memory of what happened within my childhood, and really taking that abandonment feeling to a deeper level and actually getting in there before somebody abandoned me and cutting them off very quickly. So to start and understand where that comes from is power, because the knowledge of ourselves is the power that can carry us forward. And I know personal transformation is scary. I know becoming a better version of yourself really does feel uncomfortable, of stepping out of your comfort zone. But when you do it, you actually go, oh, where is that coming from? What part of you is that? And you start to make better decisions every single day. So I'm just going to go through a few common misconceptions about inner child work before Gemma's going to take us through an incredibly gorgeous activity. I'm talking about this now in regards to you as a person that's watching this, whether you're a coach, a healer, somebody who's interested in stepping into the field of assisting others on their journey, because inner child facilitation and transformation is incredible and it's very much needed in the world right now. But first, we must work on ourselves. So we must have our own work done. We must start on our own journey, which Gemma will go through. So
Can I just butt in there as well, Stacey, and say that this is why a lot of you'll find with your coaching and stuff, a lot of the ladies that I worked with their drinking would say, you know, when I'm drunk, I'm a completely different person. I do stupid things that I would never do sober. And that is a lot of the time an inner child that we don't like to bring out. Like Stacey says, you know, you do silly things, swing on a swing, jump in a puddle. I absolutely hate doing arts and crafts and stuff with my kids, and it comes from not, you know, being like scared to make a mess and stuff like that when I was younger. Not scared, but you know, it was always a big thing if we made a massive mess. So that's when a lot of people like push all this inner child stuff down, and then when they're drunk, they'll grab a broom and start doing weird things in a nightclub, and they come to me a lot and say, but when I drink I'm outrageous. And I'm like, because you're not listening to that inner child the rest of the time.
And that's the word you just said. We're not listening to ourselves. That's the power. We get this deep-seated feeling within our stomachs, and we feel it at the back of our necks, and there's something that happens to us. And it's like this biggest form of courage that comes over us. And I'm just going to quote in Brené Brown here. And in order for you to be courageous, it requires a huge amount of vulnerability. And the alcohol gives you that little bit of gumption, that courage to be vulnerable, when actually, if we listen to our inner child, there are far safer ways and far more effective ways to embrace that inner child.
Yeah, but we're taught this from a really young age, Devin. Not that I do not want to get into a conversation about the school system right now, but from a very early age, we're taught to behave, not act that way right now. You know, we have to sit in a classroom, we have to be serious, we have to do this. We're conditioned to do this. So when we go into later life, into our adult life, we've been conditioned from a really early age to hold it in, to you know, you can't let that out right here, right now. Obviously, there's got to be some boundaries, because you can't like be in an important job meeting and start stamping your feet. But
can't you?
But you know, we're taught this from a really early age, so we carry it into adulthood. And I really struggled, really struggled for years. I still do now, really. I'm not a playy mum. I don't, I'm a like take the kids out kind of mum. Go here, like go shopping, go to lunch and stuff. And my husband is very in touch with his inner child because he is still a child. So,
Aren't
yeah.
most? No, I'm joking. I'm joking. In my opinion, sometimes I'm joking.
He's my fifth child. So yeah, but it's not, you know, it's not necessarily an issue from our childhood. It is the world that we live in where we're conditioned to, and this is why a lot of kids play up when they come home from school because they've been holding it together all day. But yeah, the schooling system conversation is another conversation, but it does stem back to that, you know, when we want to be silly or let it out, a lot of the time we're in a situation where we can't.
Yeah, and that's, you know, stepping into a lot of the parental side. You know, I have 2 children with special educational needs, and being a part of many discussions with the SEN team, you know, ADHD, dyslexia, autism, and the sensory side of things. We do have to have boundaries, but when you learn about your inner child as an adult, your perception of how your child is behaving significantly flips on its head. And yeah, and you start to implement pockets of time where they can, you know, be outrageous. And that's, did you hear what I said then? Pockets of time. This is control. This is a boundaries, because we have to still have boundaries in our life. You know, we're not talking everyone can be feral. We certainly don't want feral children. And I certainly would not be able to cope with feral children. Absolutely not.
But it's little things like I was always told to stop crying, whereas I say to my kids, just cry it out.
Yeah.
Cry it out, get it out.
Yeah. Yeah. And same with being angry. Like literally, I was so furious a couple of months ago. Something had happened at work and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so angry. And I picked up like this book that I have, imagine like a catalogue book, and I dropped it on the floor, picked it back up and I stripped it on the floor again. And my Samuel said, you're very cross, aren't you, Mum? I said, I'm very cross right now, but I need to get it out because otherwise it's going to spill out onto other people in my environment, because, you know, the 5 people that you surround yourself with, the energetics, they connect. Literally 3 days later, he came in and he was like, Mum, I'm so angry with Dexter. I'm very angry with him. I was like, get the book, let it out, let it out. And he did. And I was like, shake it off, right? How do you feel now? He's like, better. And what would have happened previously had he not seen me release my own emotions and tap into that feeling, which was my inner child stamping her feet significantly because she didn't get her own way, which I like a lot. He would have lashed out. He would have lashed out and he would have hit Dexter. And, you know, we're very, very strict on that, you know, keep your hands to yourself, you know, we don't take out how you're feeling onto somebody else. That's a, you know, it's a you problem. You keep it within your circle of control. And had I not have been a part of the inner child transformational world, he wouldn't have learned that skill. And that's also, you're paying it forward. You're creating that tidal wave of clarity and you're moving it across. So we'll be here all day if we don't get on with this.
100% we would. Go on.
So, common misconceptions. So, inner child work is only for people with severe trauma. Absolutely not. This isn't true. While those with significant trauma can benefit, everyone has an inner child. We all carry emotional imprints from childhood. Even if our upbringing was relatively stable, and I have a coach that I created a whole course for on this, because she was just like, my childhood's amazing. I was like, yes, it is, but you still have inner child wounds you need to see. Inner child work is about recognizing and healing those subtle patterns that hold us back from living fully. Okay. Number 2, inner child work is too painful and will only open old wounds. This is a huge misconception. I hear this all of the time. Oh, I'm not going there. Absolutely not. Not going down that rabbit hole. But honestly, while it's true that this work can bring up intense emotions, it is also profoundly healing. It allows us to address and soothe our inner child in a safe, supportive way. It's about honoring those feelings and creating a sense of safety and love within ourselves. I always, I'm very precious about things and things I never could have as a child. So I went back and reparented myself and have a fluffy bear on my bed. And I love it because I can. And, things that give us that home comfort that you can say, it's okay, I've got you. It's okay.
About understanding, isn't it? You're going back and understanding, and also as an adult, you can go back and understand it from the other person's perception, because obviously we're all just acting how we would taught to act, or how we have taught ourselves to act.
Mm-hmm.
So to be able to go back, this isn't about going back and shaming our parents and saying, you've
Absolutely.
done this to me and you've done that to me. This is about going back and going, yes, they did do that in that moment. I took it this way. They might have meant it this way, or they're only acting from how they were taught to act. So yeah, it can be really intense, and I've come out of some sessions in, crying and all that kind of thing, but it's given me that level of understanding about the situation that I didn't have as a child.
Yeah. And then it stops you from reacting a certain way to certain things based on that memory. When you start to understand and you go from the 3D, the 4D to the 5D, and you see your parents, where did that come from? Why did they behave in that manner? And how were they taught in that situation? And it really does empower you to let things lie, because forgiveness is one of the biggest steps that you're not forgiving. When you embark on a forgiveness journey, it's not because you forgive the person, the act, or the situation. It's the fact that you are forgiving yourself and releasing it from your energetic blueprint, because that only creates tension within our body. And within our body and our blueprint, that creates physical ailments. And somebody goes, I've got a bad back. I'm like, So
That's another masterclass.
that's another masterclass, totally.
We have
Yeah.
another 3 masterclasses off this one.
So, number 3, and our final misconception is inner child work is unscientific or woo-woo. While inner child healing often connects to spiritual practices, rituals, it is deeply rooted in psychological principles. It has ties to attachment theory and is a respected therapeutic approach used by psychologists and therapists to help clients understand and heal emotional wounds. It's definitely something I use within my CBT and NLP practices, depending on what type of client I have with me. And I utilize all of my resources that I have in my toolbox and pull those out. So yeah, it definitely is incredible. So I'm going to hand over to you, Gemma, now.
Okay, so yeah, I would absolutely love for you to just experience a little bit of inner child work for yourself, because it's really simple to do. It's really powerful. We're going to do a journaling exercise. I don't know why I can't say my words properly today. So yeah, if you just take a moment, maybe close down your eyes and just start taking a few deep breaths. And as you take these breaths, just every time you breathe out, relax your shoulders a little bit more. And we tend to hunch our shoulders up. So on each out breath, just relax our shoulders, let your arms fall heavy. We're not going to go into a meditation here. We're just relaxing our body. Maybe stretch your neck out a bit. Just imagine your younger self standing before you, in front of you, in your mind's eye, next to you. Just imagine your younger self, and your subconscious mind will naturally fall to a place, a time, a scenario. So don't overthink it too much, just go with whatever comes to you first. It can be any age, as long as it feels significant. You can really remember where you are, you can smell it, you can hear what's going on. Just notice how everything looks around you. What are you wearing? What are other people wearing? What's the expressions on everybody's faces? Is somebody angry with you? Somebody really happy with something you've done? Is there stuff going on around you and you're just watching? Now just tap into the feelings that you get as this younger version of yourself stands here listening, watching, talking. And then when you're ready, open your eyes, keeping this all in the forefront of your mind. And if you've got a pen and a piece of paper in front of you, I'm going to give you some journal prompts. Now, if you want to, once this masterclass is recorded, you can pause after each question and give it a little bit more time, or go back and go through and pause, just so that you can really get down on paper, because this is bringing something that you might not have ever thought of out. So don't rush it, is basically what I'm saying. Okay, so the first journal prompt here is, what did your inner child want to say to you, and how did they feel? In that situation, what did your inner child want to say to you, and how were they feeling?
Yeah, just hit pause now and then answer the question, and then come back to this. And I'm just going to tell you what my inner child did when I was in that, which has just totally blown my mind. So I remember a time where we lived in terraced houses and we had the garden over the road, and there's a road in between. Me and my sister used to play Kirby, and we used to run across to the garages and backwards and forwards. And I remember my sister's running and messing around, and she got her little foot got run over. Yeah, she like put her foot out and the car wheel caught it. And I remember, because the car was, obviously it was a main road, so and I remember screaming and panicking, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And immediately I just asked myself, what did I need at that point? I needed somebody to put their arms around me and calm me and say everything's going to be okay. Because I just went into this huge, great panic, which reminded me of every single time the children hurt themselves, I go into this great big fight or flight mode. And it's just taken me back there. How weird.
Journal on it, Stace.
I definitely am. I wrote it down. Like, wow. I think we must be about 8 or 9. Amazing.
And that is what I said at the beginning about, don't overthink it. Your subconscious will naturally take, and it could be a different thing every time. We're not necessarily going back to significant events here. We could be going back to something that's just a simple mine a lot of the time, and I've done a lot of this work before. A lot of the time it relates back to food, and like being at a birthday party and being able to eat whatever I want. No one's going to stop me because it's a party and all that kind of thing. So yeah, it's really good. Okay, so journal prompt number 2 is, what did your inner child, like Stacey just said, what did your inner child need most at that moment in time? Was it love, safety, acceptance, reassurance? What did your inner child need most at that time that you went back to? Just pause it and answer it in your own time.
Definitely safety for me. Cut roots back. My whole entire ... is safety, not feeling safe, which must come from an ancestral pattern from my mother.
Right there.
Oh,
Delivering a masterclass, so can you get a lot out of it?
No, I do though. I do it every single time. It doesn't matter. The more you delve into it, the more profound things come.
And we find this, don't we? This is why it works well with 2 of us, because when say something, the other one's going, oh my God, I've never thought of that before. We're coaching each other as we're working.
Love it.
Okay, so number 3. I love this one. If you could give your inner child anything right now, what would that be? If you could give that little girl or little boy anything that they needed in that moment right now, what would that be? Just pause that and write it down. Again, don't overthink things too much. Just write down exactly what you're thinking. I think this is a massive common, especially when journaling. It's a common, not mistake, but a thing to happen where we think one thing and then go, hang on a minute, no, and we're letting our head get involved and we're not speaking them from our heart.
And it doesn't have to be neat.
No, can be bubbles, yeah.
Whatever comes out, how it comes out.
And then number 4, what message of comfort, love, or understanding do you want to offer your inner child from that moment that you thought about? What message of comfort, love, or understanding do you want to offer them or you?
I've just gone and read the next journal prompt you're going to ask, and I've just realised on my first sentence, because I do this all the time, I didn't realise how ingrained the pattern becomes once you do it. And literally, I worked out the need, what she needed, how you could do it, and how I felt.
I know, when you said, I just wanted somebody, I was like, that's the next journal prompt thing.
I didn't read them because it's your section.
Okay, and then number 5 is, how do you think your inner child is affecting your life today? So, like, are there patterns that you're recognizing that stem from a certain time in your life? And again, it could be this exact moment here. Some of you might have gone back to a massive moment in your life, but a lot of you, if they're anything like I was, will go back to moments that you're like, what? I don't even know. I don't even remember this. And that is the power of tuning into your subconscious, because for some it will be massive, and for some you might think it's going to be massive and it's actually somebody's birthday party that you thought you were having a really good time at, but actually there was stuff going on. Or it could be like, you know, it could be something so tiny, but actually that uncovers something so massive. So yeah, this is why we don't bring judgment into it, and we try not to judge our thoughts as we're having them, because our subconscious is vast. It's vast. There's a lot of stuff in there that, well, everything's in there still, but we only pluck out bits that we need at the time, and they could be different every time. If you try and consciously think of something, you might not get as much out of it as if you just let yourself do it. So I'll just read that one again because I've spoken again. How do you think this inner child is affecting your life today? And are there any patterns that you recognise that stem or could stem from this time in your life?
And hit pause.
Hit pause and answer that, yeah. Take your time with these prompts, and remember to be really gentle with yourself. Don't go in there going, oh yes, but I did this, so that's why my mum or my dad or my aunt or my uncle or my nan or my granddad did that. You know, don't hold any judgment on yourself. Just observe, be an observer in this situation. What I'm not asking you to do is go back and relive it. I'm asking you almost to go back and look on it as a third person. And just
watching a movie. As you're watching a movie, as you're seeing it on a screen in front of you. And I just want to say, if you're doing this exercise, and it is incredibly powerful, as you've just seen from my own experience, and it is a bit much for you, please reach out to us. Email academy@theclaritycircle.co.uk, direct messages on Instagram, Facebook. Myself and Gemma are the Clarity Circle page. You know, our team are incredible at responding back immediately. But, you know, going to our community group, personal and professional development, the Clarity Circle, and, you know, we've got a Q&A thread in there.
You can post anonymously as well. You don't have to, you don't attach a name to it.
Yeah, post anonymously. You know, how did you find this masterclass? You know, how did you find this information that we've been sharing with you? Does it resonate with you? Because not only can you get profound transformation yourself and awareness, because immediately, how is it playing out in my adult life? Massively. I mean, that's something I'm going to go and revisit actually during my meditation today. And I do silent meditation a lot now. It's very powerful. You know, it's not easy. You know, it's like a muscle. You've got to build it up. But that allows me to get clarity in my mind. Another masterclass. But, you know, what Gemma's just given you there is a tip of the iceberg of our Inner Child Facilitator program. Our Inner Child Facilitator program is an accredited certification that is globally recognised by the International Practitioners of Holistic Medicine, the International Association of Therapists, and by the Clarity Circle Academy. You know, we have helped, assisted, and transformed thousands of people's lives all over the world and continue to do so at a rapid rate, from aspects of people stepping into a full new career, you know, to other people just delving into enhance their own personal journey in life. And if you are catching this masterclass, then I have a wonderful Brucey bonus for you. So our Inner Child Facilitator certification program is £333. It comes with all the scripts that you need to offer this as sessions. 3, maybe 4, because we have a trauma response one as well, which is incredible, and the script. And those are £95 that my clients charge out. £95, okay? So they do the certification program, the students graduate, and they charge £95 per session. I had a student when we first initially put this out, and she's getting an extra £1,000 a month just from inner child facilitation sessions at the side of her coaching. Because right now, you have to ensure to create true transformation, to be a sought after coach, healer, facilitator, that you have the correct tools in your toolbox. And in order to create lasting transformation, you do have to add in this work. So on our Inner Child Facilitator certification page, where you can sign up, we do offer payment plans for 2, 3, and 4 months to spread the payment across. But because you've watched this masterclass right to the end, I'm going to give you an incredible 15% off, okay? So you're going to write that as Masterclass in the coupon code, okay? That's MASTERCLASS, Masterclass, in the coupon code. When you click the button,
all one word.
All one word. When you click the button and you go across and you select which payment, whether it's monthly payments, because that's a big thing for me, you know, as a single parent to 4 children. When I started out in my journey, I didn't have that extra income just to buy a course. However, I knew how important it was to keep advancing my own learning, but learn about myself even more. So that's why we fetch monthly payments. So underneath that's a coupon code, which you can add in Masterclass, all one word. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, take care. We'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.